Hello and welcome to Everybody Loves Raiken, our 5th edition live play podcast that meets every Tuesday night, or as often as we can. Last week was interesting. You had received the information from Jebel's animal contacts that led the party to believe that this Tresnor that they're dealing with may be a demi-lich, or a lich, a person who became a lich and then failed to feed souls to their phylactery, losing their body in the process. This was supported by much of the evidence that was given. The party has generally accepted this idea, this notion. And as they were discussing what they should do about this, a course of action that was being weighed in on, it appeared, by Zintharamil via Lorelei, who said that a person who has corrupted themselves so should not be trusted or dealt with. And Zintharamil refused to speak to Tresnor, even though Tresnor claimed that he was an old friend of the Fey Guardian. The party was sequestered within a small home in the village as Tresnor and his people awaited the arrival of Tatsuya and his army of Dragonborn. Sometime later, after the party had had time to rest and discuss, Vendar announced that he could hear movement of a great number of people within the village and was concerned that it indicated the arrival of Tatsuya. Hearing this, Raiken decided that he wanted to leave the building and see what was going on, because he had been promised the ability to speak to his brother, before he would be killed or otherwise dealt with by Tresnor and the Sentinels. But upon trying to leave, they found that their two guards continued to bar their way, and requested strongly that the party remain within the home. Initiative began, but the party largely seemed to agree that they did not want to, at least not yet, harm the Platinum Sentinels, even these guards who were threatening them with magic. So after a very short skirmish, the party resigned itself back within the confines of the home, and Raiken made some threatening remarks to the party regarding their decision and his brother. I think the next important thing that happened was Yukikaze finished attuning the armor of Bahamut, at which point it glowed and sprouted wings and a tail, causing him to even more closely resemble a dragon. He also claimed that during the course of attuning the armor, he had had a discussion with not only an aspect of Bahamut, but also an aspect of Shagrazir, the former champion, who had given him information and a calling, a choice, and told the party that they could either choose to do what Shagrazir did 1,000 years ago and return the dragons to their magical slumber, or to finish the fight, finally killing the children of Tiamat, summoning the great evil dragon, and destroying her as well. And so, it is after the party has been shut back inside the house, and this information has been shared to them, that we will pick up. So if anybody wishes to respond to this declaration of choice by Yukikaze, we can start there.
I think we should kill him.
I think that we shouldn't.
I'm with Laramendes on this one.
I vote kill.
I
That's what I was
am
gonna do with the green dragon anyways.
I am unsure because
do not think that we have the means to complete the task, should we even be able to kill the dragons themselves.
So we'll find the means. If we put him back to sleep, then this can just happen again in 100 years.
Although we will now have more information accessible and usable for the future that can help curtail this at an earlier moment. We just don't know anything about what the fallout of deicide is, and that's a large enough event that I don't feel comfortable with that uncertainty.
I say we take the risk.
Did we
It's an
also
awful big risk.
ask Tresor if the fact that we don't know if there's someone else even behind Raiken's brother influencing him to keep him alive to be questioned? I forgot if you asked him.
I mean, if he had promised Raiken the chance to speak with him, then either he is intending to take him alive to fulfill that promise, or he's lying. So we'd be trusting his word one way or the other.
Well, I just didn't want to dismiss Raiken's wish to address his brother, and also the thought of there might be something greater behind him that has influenced his actions. That we could pass this message along to the guards, and they could say something to Tresor. We do something. I know it's all at once. I just didn't want to dismiss it.
I mean, if there's some message specifically that we want to try and convey to them before any fighting truly gets started, then now would be the time to ask them.
And that's why I brought it up.
Larmatis looks over at Raiken.
What? They're already attacking. You think they're going to be able to pick out my brother among all those Dragonborn and somehow keep him alive?
There could be something unique about your brother that makes him stand out from the others that you would know being his brother.
I mean, he is their commanding officer, isn't he? Is there not some emblem of rank that is usually worn by your military?
It seems like they're already fighting without really being able, at a distance that they probably wouldn't be able to tell.
That's assuming a lot. If their combat's efficient, like they know a lot about combats, they would be able to spot these things. They can even tell by their attack position, I assume.
But if part of what's going on are the traps that they have laid, then it would be difficult to aim that.
Yes. You never know what's going to happen in a battle.
You guys are so quick to allow the Platinum Sentinels to remain unharmed with no bloodshed, but allow my brother's units to possibly get killed without even knowing what they are truly here for. What is their actual purpose in coming for them?
I will say that if our intention is in fact deicide, then we are in a more advantageous position to let the two of them fight as we go and deal with things separately. Otherwise, our position will be much more precarious.
Have we decided on that?
I am against it. I'm just merely stating the fact that if that is what we want to do, then we should go now, while a large group of the forces are out.
Well, currently, so far as I can tell, it's 2 for kill, 2 for not, and the rest unsure.
Yukikaze, what can all of that, kind of gesturing to your, sword, shield, armor, do?
It would have helped if I had done what I intended to do and created the full set items in D&D Beyond. Did I?
Would it include the set bonuses?
Well, that's what I mean. I would create them as a separate item.
Oh, okay, yeah. That makes sense.
I
So the one item
simplified it
that's everything.
by not making like item pair bonuses only full set and not full
Yeah.
set. But I don't remember if I created them. Hang on. But you can tell them what you know, because I believe that I have it here. I believe it only adds to what it can do, the set bonuses, and then if you want, I can read those off.
Yeah, you just read them off. Yukikaze would not keep stuff. Or would not hold anything back. He just say.
Okay. Let me just see my homebrew. If I was smart. I'm guessing I wasn't. Second Dragon's Skill. Silverfang, only one of them. Okay, so somebody needs to not let me forget to create these. But I will copy paste these to you. They just add on. So you already know, Yukikaze, that the sword was +1 magic. You were able to spend an action to cause the weapon to deal an additional 1d6 damage of a dragon element type for 1 minute. You could make it illuminate at will. Once per short rest, you can spend an action to turn chromatic dragons as the turn undead's channel divinity. Increases your strength by 2 points. And it has 5 charges, and the charges can be used to cast Bless, and it recharges 1d4 plus 1 a day at dawn. Let's see. Once you have the full set, the sword is now a +3 magic item, and you can change its form as a bonus action. It can make it into a longsword, a rapier, a battle axe, a scimitar, a warhammer, a spear, or a lance for the weapon's stats and traits. But you can make them look how you please, so you could give it the stats of the longsword and the appearance of the katana as you had preferred with Hideo. You could do something like that. What did I say? Longsword, rapier, battle axe, scimitar, warhammer, spear, lance, javelin. The armor. Or shield. Alright, the shield's here, so I'll read that. The shield gave you +1 AC in addition to its normal +2 for being a shield. It allowed you to ignore 1 point of non-magical slashing, piercing, or bludgeoning damage, but does not stack with other sources like Heavy Armor Master. Upon being hit by an attack, you can spend a reaction to gain a magic shield until the end of your turn that raises AC by 3 points and fully blocks magic missile. Alternatively, you could protect an ally with the same power, as long as the ally is within 5 feet. It was +3 AC. As a reaction, you can choose an element other than the one you already chose for your character, and while wearing this armor, your Dragon Breath attack deals damage of this type in addition to the one you originally selected. You also gain resistance to the second Dragon element type. And you can change that element once per day. And you ignore 1 point of non-magical bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing, but that he is allowed to stack with Heavy Armor Master. Now, as a set, you now have immunity to both of those elements. So Yukikaze is immune to cold damage and one other draconic element of his choice that he can change daily. When hit by an attack that includes a draconic element, he can make a DC 15 con save, and on a successful save, he will receive half the elemental damage rounded up. The remaining damage will be stored in the shield until released. On a failed save, you take full damage and store nothing. You can store up to 50 points of damage in the shield this way, and once it fills, damage may no longer be absorbed or resisted. Once per day, absorbed damage may be released as an action. All absorbed damage must be released at once. When released, radiant energy bursts from the shield, and strikes one target creature. Each day at dawn, stored energy dissipates by 10 points to a minimum of 0. So you can store it overnight. You can store energy overnight, but you lose some when day breaks. And then
that was draconic energy?
you get to absorb draconic elements, so fire, cold, lightning, poison, acid. And then finally, the armor spouts platinum dragon wings and a tail, and you gain a fly speed of 40 feet.
So that is what I can do with this.
That's literally everything.
In that case, I will back Yukikaze's decision as to whether we go for the knockout or kill.
Kill. I want to kill him.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I know. What's Bendar's take on this?
I think we should kill him.
I'm pretty sure he said he wanted to have a tea party.
He's undecided.
That is what I heard.
Yeah.
Both of those. A tea party, that's undecided. So, I guess a variety of teas.
Alright, I'm sending you a copy of the complete set stuff, and I will update those items on D&D Beyond. As soon as I goddamn remember to. So, you explain to the party those things about your armor set. The party, or at least Cyrus, wants to know what you want to do.
So more people had a little more input on it. With Claire Mendes and Leah don't wish to take them on, and Bendar and Raiken want to. Cyrus and Jebel are kind of way too balanced for this thing. Actually, for mental check for myself, Tristan.
Yep.
Nothing said that we had to have all the dragons sealed to have the seals work.
Nothing said that if a dragon is loose, the other seals will automatically fail. That is correct.
Or even if a dragon is killed, the other seals will not work.
Nothing has said that. That is correct.
You guessing we kill only some of the dragons, or only Bala?
But you do know what the implications of killing all the dragons are, and you know that if you kill some of them, it will be easier for someone else to kill the rest, because the others don't exist, if that is what you do.
I think we can decide when we get to the dragons.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm feeling a little bit about it, but I do want to address the current situation. I want to I want us to do something about the current situation with I just said his name not too long ago.
How's you?
Resnar?
Yes, and Raiken's brother and his platoon.
Well, if we want to do anything about that, we're gonna have to fight out or trust them and wait until it's over.
I don't think it'd be the best idea to wait.
Well, I'm up for fighting. At least this sect of the Platinum Sentinels are kind of culty. They might.
Oh yeah.
Do
None of the rest are.
They might not let us do what we need to do anyway.
And why is
Yeah.
Raiken's... If there's a platoon of people coming, they're nearby. The scale isn't nearby. Why are they here?
The scale is nearby, ostensibly.
Yeah, but well, okay, well, the footsteps were the noise that was all being heard was them, the people here leaving, right?
Yeah, to go confront the squad to prevent them from getting any closer to the scale.
Listen, there's something coming from the south. And they got a lot of people moving to defend this place against it. Well, I guess technically it's possible it's something else, but it seems far too much of a coincidence. They say almost nothing ever comes out here. And we know that Raiken's brother is coming here.
We could scry on him now.
It will be quick enough for us to do that, and then well, even for us to get out there, it would take us time. Scrying will only take a couple minutes, right?
You can scry up to 10 minutes.
I think it is an action to cast, so... hold on, I'm pulling up this... I guess Laramendas cannot.
Leah's the one that can scry.
So why don't we ask
Yeah.
Leah, since it's her spell?
Yes, hold on.
Yeah, so whatever we do, we must do it quickly. We don't have much time.
Oh, no.
Let's see. Scry. What was the question?
Casting time.
Casting time. 10 minutes.
Never mind then. That's too long.
And concentration. I have to concentrate. So it's not a during combat sort of thing, if that's what you wanted.
Wait, all you guys have all these little critters. Can a critter go out there real quick and give us intel?
And the critter... No... The Tatsuya?
No, like,
Lorelai
You're
knows
asking
first
about
one.
one of the familiars?
yeah, you could send, like, your owl. Can you, like, quickly fly out there, see what's going on real quick, and report back to you?
I
Telepathic.
need to resummon my owl, which takes another 10 minutes.
Lorelai, can you scout? You can go invisible.
It's true. I could go visit
cares?
the battlefield if you needed me to. If it is as far away as Skit said, then I would have to go out of communication range to gather the information you want. It would take a little bit of time.
I think we have that time. If you go now. But be careful.
She just sort of, like, straightens up on your shoulder and nods, placing a hand on the hilt of her sword at her waist, then buzzes out the window.
Oh, next time, Squeakers.
Squeaker just, like, curls up in your hands and chirps at you.
Now that I know how to talk to him.
So, as this happens, the sprite flies out the window as you have decided to find out what is going on the battlefield. You are going to hear the voices of your guards outside the door. Somewhat muffled through the thick wood, but clear enough to be understood. They seem to be addressing someone. They seem to be commanding them to stop. And then you hear the casting of spells. And after just a bare few seconds of this going on, you start to hear blows landing. What do you do?
The blows landing, does it sound like it hits something normal sized or like a tiny winged creature?
It sounds like that these blows are landing on something normal size as far as you can tell.
Okay.
The guards are being attacked.
Sounds like Tatia attacked from more than one direction.
Makes
Let's
sense.
move.
I was
If you-
right.
I'll pull my bow out and wait for Raiken to kick the door in.
I cast Mage Armor.
Okay!
Counterspell it.
With all of your remaining spell slots, I know how important it is to you not to get counterspelled again.
Yeah, you have no idea how tempting it is to counterspell you.
That's just
And I'll flick my
mean.
poison. I'll flick my poison back on.
Then you'll be down 2 spell slots. You flip your poison back on. Raiken, what do you do?
I don't know how they expect me to kick the door, and then they use magic on the goddamn door.
I mean, you know that after the door closed, you heard him casting a spell. You did not see any effect.
Probably an anti-kicking door and spell.
Yeah, that spell is called Arcane Lock, and it just makes it more difficult to kick down a door, which makes it an interesting challenge. And I
Yeah, you're
believe that you are
supposed to be
strong
the
enough to
strong
deal
one.
with an arcane locked door.
I believe in you, even though you have failed us more times than that.
Yes, he wasn't strong enough to flip the table.
Listen, that was a
Yeah,
table.
I'm willing to make a bet.
That was something
Yeah.
that gravity. It was gravity.
He skips out in arms day, but he never skips leg day.
Alright, you know that there's a fight going on outside. You only have a few seconds to react here before it's going to be over anyway. What are you going to do?
I kick the door, and I believe in you.
Raiken is going to, I guess, attempt to kick the door in. And,
Hit the door out, technically.
well, yeah. He's going to kick the door out. However, Raiken is preparing something in case he doesn't make it.
If I see Raiken start to move towards the door, I'd like to move towards the window.
Gonna burst out.
Like
Like a
but
little
here's the
halfling
current
chest
arrangement of the room. Is everybody satisfied with this?
If it's as closest to the window I can get, then yes.
Yeah.
Jebel, just so that you're aware, this is you.
Further with the green.
Green with the purple thing in your hand.
Okay.
This square over here would have, like, the barest amount of cover from the door. If, like, somebody were standing in the doorway to attack, you'd get, like, half cover. Okay. Nobody wants to move any further, then, I will have, Raiken, roll damage against the door. It's not moving, you're going to hit it.
Okay. This is just a straight up.
I mean, are you going to hit it with your axe or your foot? That's going to determine the damage die.
Is it not an athletics check if you're trying to kick down a door?
Is it an athletics check if you're trying to kick down the door? Is that listed in the player's handbook?
I think so, or at
Okay.
least it is. I don't know if it's athletics. I think it could just be straight strength.
I mean, so do you want to just, like, kick the door open, or do you want to, like, demolish the door?
I'd like to do, like, both at the same time.
Both at the same time?
So it sounds like you are attacking the door with your axe.
It does sound like you're attacking the door with your axe, I have
Which
to
is,
agree.
you would roll the damage for, attacking with
An axe, yeah.
Okay. Hold on, let me bring my battle axe.
And it
stuff
just so
up.
happens that axes are great for attacking wood.
Say here is
Almost-
Raiken when
almost
you
like a
smooth
chop through it.
Okay. Huzzah! Ah, I only have. So that is.
You gonna super
10
armor
points.
smite the door?
Super armor smite the door.
Super armor smite the door. I mean, I'm not saying you have to or even should. I'm asking if you want to.
I'm trying to decide if you would.
It is
Which
correct.
I'm very leaning towards yes.
I mean, you did just have your resident wizard tell you the guy probably arcane locked the door, which makes it really hard to destroy.
He'll
And
It
you
makes
said
it
you wanted to
harder,
obliterate
but I
it.
believe in him.
he smites with a level 1.
A level 1 smite? Are you gonna super armor attack it, or just smite?
Wait, what? Wait.
The armor's ability that lets you double damage that you deal.
Oh my. No. God damn it, on a friggin' door.
I'm just asking if you want to. I'm not saying you have to. Your answer to me can be no. Feel free to say no. I'm just saying,
No.
this is a thing that you can do. You were told the door might be super resistant to damage. Do you want to just make sure this door is obliterated?
He believes in himself.
Okay, you believe in yourself, and you attack the door and roll damage.
And he tries hard.
Remember that you have improved smite, so with a level 1 smite, that should be 3 additional d8s in total.
Okay. Jesus. They weren't the greatest rolls. That is 10 regular silvered slashing along with 10 radiant damage.
20 damage total?
Yes.
Okay. Going to build
Laramentus, 10
Be
silver
like-
is not gonna make it.
I'll
2
take that.
platinums as he is.
So you bring your axe down at the door, and as it makes contact, you see the entire blade engulfed in holy fire. And as the blade begins to cut through the wood, the holy fire expands out onto the wood, burning it as you smash it into large chunks that begin to burn away. The large chunks, slip and fall to the ground into a small pile that seems to lean a bit away from you, but still stay standing, defying physics. Outside the door, you do see the guards from before. I'm gonna put him over here. One of them is face down in the water. The larger Furbolg is still standing, seeming to be facing someone beyond. And as the splinters of wood fall before you, you do see a coil of dark energy fly through the air and seem to enwrap itself around his chest, and you see him kind of tense up all the muscles in his torso, crying out in pain, before letting out a long rattle and falling to the ground before the door.
First I'll give Laramentus 10 silver.
Oh, come on! Where's my
no
2
time.
platinum? Come on.
Oh, I didn't agree to that.
Raiken can't believe that Leah bet against him. As if she didn't hurt him enough.
I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what token I choose this, because I'm going to have to describe something else anyway. Alright, so, as the Furbolg falls before the door, you see that he falls at the feet of a young-looking half-elf who stands there, looking. He's got like this angry, determined look on his face. He has tanned skin, and he seems to be dressed in leathers that seem to wrap tightly around his body. He's got a traveler's cloak on with the hood thrown back, and he looks up at you as the Furbolg falls. He says in a soft voice that seems to be accented by the local elf language, but he speaks in common, as he says, "I'm sorry that they held you against your will like that."
Oh, hello. I'm
Have
Leah.
we met this guy before? Is he new?
He does not look
who are
familiar
you?
to you. Says he looks determinedly into the room. Says, "Let me get you out of there." And he steps forward, and you see that he places a hand against the space in the open doorway, and you can see the pads of his hand flatten as though against a pane of glass. And he reaches into the satchel on his belt and pulls out a scroll and begins reading in Draconic.
All of the members of the Platinum Sentinels were wearing some sort of sash kind of thing.
Yes, they were all wearing a silver sash.
Is he wearing one?
You do not see one on him.
I'm just gonna go like, and you are.
Are you going to interrupt him as he reads off of the, or attempt to interrupt him as he reads off of, or are you going to wait for whatever he's reading off of the scroll?
Well, I'm just gonna say it, and
Okay.
then he can finish if he wants to finish.
His eyes, like, flick to you, like, mid-read, and his voice falters for a second, and then he looks back at the page and continues reading. And then you see his hand blows, and that around it, you see this white light begin to spread out in the shape of his hand. But other than that, nothing really seems to happen. And the scroll burns away and falls to ash that sprinkles onto the fallen body of the Furbolg. And he says, "You can call me Gavaris." Come on. The leader doesn't know I betrayed him yet.
Which leader?
Raiken will exit the house.
Resnor. You met him.
Just
Yeah,
making
we
sure.
didn't meet you.
Oh, but I'm fine with that.
His eyes flick over to Leah, and you see his cheeks redden just a little.
Where? Sorry, go ahead.
He seems to, his eyes return to Jebel. He says, "Oh, sorry." And he reaches into that same pouch that he withdrew the scroll from and pulls out the edge of a piece of fabric that you can see is like this silver satin that looks just like the sashes that the others wear. He says, "I didn't think it would be right to continue wearing it."
Probably get going.
Where are we intended on going?
I've got to get you out of here, of course. They'll be distracted with the fighting.
Well,
Did you lay eyes on who they're fighting?
I only know that it's a group of Dragonborn.
Larmandus didn't cast Telepathic Bond, did he?
No.
No.
I believe he started, but then got interrupted when we were thinking about leaving, and then we just didn't have time to go back to it.
When your rank's as low as mine, they don't tell you everything, of course. Unfortunately, I have been led to believe by the events this morning that perhaps the leader isn't as sane as he once was.
You would be correct with that.
He looks back and smiles at you, Leah. A little bit of a mischievous smirk as you say that.
She blushes and hides her face.
He moves out to the...
walks off being into the water.
You do what into the water?
No, Leah hides her face, so she's not looking where she's going, just walks straight off into the water.
I see.
I will say, quietly, in Undercommon, just sounds like he was expecting the attack.
I will respond quietly in Undercommon. We did tell a large number of people that there was an army of Dragonborn coming.
Yeah, he seems trustworthy. Oh, God damn it.
It's hard to gauge his age, but you think he might be just a bit older than Leah.
He's one of those characters floating.
It does appear...
Standing on reeds.
no,
Yeah,
I think
standing
he
on
was
reeds.
referring to Cyrus.
Cyrus, because he's flying. Yeah, wings.
He, after passing the mischievous smile, he stops at the first crossroads, in the area. Let's see, nobody else is around here.
Oh, the Furbog, is he in the water or is he on the,
I just moved him out of the way, but just imagine that he's, like, laying prone, you know, and you have to step over him on the boardwalk.
I'm just going to, like, check for a pulse as I move past him.
Yeah, roll, medicine. Just because you're trying to do it quickly.
Uh, 25.
25. He does seem to have a thready, light, quick pulse. Like, he's out, he's down, he might be dying.
There's a fella in the water.
You don't see any bubbles, and he's face down. He stops at this first intersection, and he lifts his arm up, crooked at the elbow, and looks toward his wrist. And after a couple of seconds, you see his arm dip slightly. And he seems to whisper something at his arm. And after just a second, you see this serpentine winged creature, very small, about the size of a cat, appear on his arm, and it seems to nod at him and blink its reptilian eyes, after which it looks toward the group, seeming to look you each over in an almost intelligent way, but it seems to linger on Leah, holding eye contact if it makes it.
Does it look familiar?
Yes. It looks like a pseudo-dragon.
Okay, but it doesn't look like a
It's
specific pseudo dragon. It just looks like a pseudo dragon.
Roll your history check.
Oh boy.
No.
How far from the Furbog have we gotten by this point?
If you're counting the back of the group, 0 feet.
Yeah, he did stop at this first intersection, so if you're, following him in a train, some of you are still standing over the body.
I got a 10.
A 10.
I'm going to try and quickly cast Healing Word on him.
Okay.
And I would like to offer... Oh wait, I don't have my inspiration. I thought I did. Never mind.
I do have inspiration myself. I'm just saving it for more important roles.
You haven't seen a lot of pseudo-dragons. In fact, I don't think you ever saw a second pseudo-dragon. But
No,
this
something,
one does look eerily similar. Maybe they all look just like the last pseudo-dragon you saw. But it looks a lot like him.
Maybe
And
he's a warlock.
And its eyes do linger on you.
Baron, do I recognize him?
Do you recognize him?
Baron.
This is the dragon.
Or do I recognize the pseudo-dragon as Baron?
He looks incredibly similar to the pseudo-dragon that used to travel with the party.
Okay.
But again, I don't believe you've seen too many other pseudo-dragons.
No, I don't believe I have.
They, to your best of your knowledge, most of them are red with yellow eyes. It's possible it's the same pseudo-dragon. It's possible it's a different pseudo-dragon entirely.
That puts me on edge, because those things are fiends. We know that.
This Verbo got 10 HP restored.
Okay. You do
and if
see...
if I see him, like, if he opens his eyes,
yeah,
I'm going to motion to him, like, finger to lips, you know, quiet, and kind of, like, gesture down, stay down.
Okay. You do that because his eyes do begin to flutter open, and he seems to be, you know, about to groan his way back to his feet. He seems to, as he sees you right up in his face, giving him these gestures, like, he seems like he's about to you know, jerk up and look for a way to defend himself, and he sort of instead seems to slowly take in, just with the movement of his eyes, what's going on, and seems to close his eyes for an extended moment and steady his breathing. And then he opens them and looks to you again. Seeming to be waiting for an instruction.
I don't know, trying a hand gesture that just says, wait.
Okay. You just sort of push your palm toward him and just beat it toward the ground in a slow rhythm a few times. The pseudo-dragon on the half-elf's arm returns its gaze to its master, seems to nod, sticking its tongue out in a very snake-like manner, before gathering itself and leaping from the arm back into the air, vanishing almost instantly as it takes flight again. The half-elf turns back to you and says, "Alright, it should be safe for us to head to the west."
Is that a real pseudo-dragon?
How'd you mean?
Are you a warlock? Is that a familiar or a real dragon?
I'm not certain how it matters, but it is a familiar of mine.
What is his name?
Okay.
What?
What is his name?
My familiar?
Yes.
I mean, I tend to call him Scales, but he tells me that he prefers to be called Larsil.
Okay. Can I roll a history or something to see if that sounds like something Baron would have told me sometimes in the past, or if that
Sure.
name rings a bell?
You may roll a history.
Okay, that was a bit better. 13.
13. It does not ring a bell.
Okay. Leah just gives a silent nod and be like,
And who's your patron?
I don't believe these are questions I need to answer. We need to move if you want to get out of here alive.
You're asking a lot for us to trust you, especially with a
I freed you
frickin'
from a
fiend on your
house where
arm.
you were going to be destroyed. I think I've done you a great service. If you don't want to follow me, don't. I'm leaving. And he is going to begin walking away.
I look to Raiken and look over to the south. Do you want to follow him, or do you want to go after your brother?
I mean, I want to go after my brother.
Well, let's go after him.
I guess Raiken will head towards where the fighting is.
Okay.
I'm going to whisper to the Furbolg, the guy who attacked you. Do you know who he is?
The Furbolg, you know, still just like holding eye contact with you and remaining as still as possible, just slowly shakes his head.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, you might want to just put here for him. And then maybe head off and warn someone that he's claiming to be one of you.
You see this stern resolve enter the Furbolg's eyes, and he just dips his head once, remaining as motionless as possible otherwise.
And then I'm gonna follow everyone else.
Okay. So, you head out, and you have access to everything in the village. As you continue moving to the south, you notice that there doesn't seem to be anybody moving around the town outside of the homes. You hear nothing within the town except for the slow lap of water as it churns gently within the swamp. The creak of insects and the burbling of frogs, but as you continue moving south, the sounds of battle come to your ears. The ring of metal on metal, the cry of warriors as they make and land blows against one another.
If we get far enough away from that fella, I'm gonna let whoever's around me know that the Furbolg said he didn't know who he was. Didn't recognize him.
Furbolg's alive?
He is now. Or at least he was when we left.
Well, the pseudo dragon is also very familiar. I want to trust him, but it's scary.
He had a
How is
very
it
fair
familiar?
face.
After everything that's happened with Zephyr, I see a pseudo dragon. I ain't getting near it.
Did Laramentis ever actually see the pseudo dragon? I don't remember if he was ever.
Yes. I
I th-
didn't. Oh, did he?
I think he did. Like, I thought that you still had Zephyr on the boat when you were sailing from
Yeah, 'cause the
Bromont
fish.
to Molinar.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
want to know if Laramentis is going to understand the particular like hesitancy you've shown around a pseudo dragon, but he would, so he wouldn't question it.
Yeah, she
I need to
like
go and give my cat some insulin.
Baron wasn't around a lot after you joined the party, but I do believe he was there a couple of times.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
like I'm just saying, if he had never shown, like if he was always dismissed by the time I joined in, then
I know
we
the
ask a
armor.
quick question. But
And Leah didn't get actual verbal contact with Sintaramel until after the zombie master.
okay, yeah.
So everything until then, she was faithful to Zephyr. And Baron was with her.
Makes sense. I will be back in about 10 minutes.
Okay. So, as I said,
Or, may I?
you may.
As we're walking, I want to say, do we want to send someone to the Frost Pillar? If the Furbolg didn't recognize the elf, then it could be in danger from others.
The Frost Pillar.
Yeah, but for us to separate with such powerful enemies would probably put us at a very risky situation.
Well, having another dragon here to murder us is also a very risky situation.
Wait, what is the Frost Pillar?
The scale.
The scale is there.
Oh.
Makes the pillar frosty.
Well, it's also if it was all truth, though, too, what we're told.
True enough.
That's another thing we gotta take into account, sorry. We could be going to... nothing.
As you are making your way to the south and east, Gavaris does appear one more time, seeming to have shadowed you this way, and he gestures dismissively as he makes himself known to you. Says, "You really are going to stay and throw away your lives on this? Fine. At least be warned about the glyphs. The areas outside the village, surrounding it especially to the south, east, and west, are strewn with glyphs of warding. You get near enough to one, it's gonna go off.
Like, who?
Like, it's going to activate and magically cast a spell on you, one that'll kill you instantly where you stand.
Well, I appreciate the information. Is it detectable? Or is it...
I think Glyph of Warding is... you can sense it with Detect Magic. Let me check.
It is by default, but there could be other things to
Can you
mask it.
see it?
It could mask it.
Well, we didn't... Apparently, there might have been one on the hot... Oh, no way, I'm talking to that character. I can't say it.
I'm gonna activate Detect Magic anyway.
He's going to fall silent a moment and look troubled and say, "Most of them aren't. Some of them, sure, but many of them are concealed with the magic aura. Made to... They're also placed all over the ground. And as you have seen, the ground is thick with either water or shrubs. Look, I'm not going that way. I still think you should escape with me this way. But if you have to go, you should know about that. I'm sure many of the soldiers
came here
have...
for a reason.
Look, your purposes are yours. I'm only trying to help. I think that Tresnor's done wrong, and I think that I can help you, but if you don't want my help, fine. In any event, probably go into an area where they've mostly been set off by the soldiers. So maybe you'll be alright. But I would keep a sharp eye if you can. You got Detect Magic, use that. But just know, you might not be able to sense it all."
Well, the only real concern is getting to one of our party members' relatives that's within the battalion.
Well,
That's what's driving us in that direction.
then I'm sorry for your loss. All I can say is, I hope you'll choose otherwise and come with me. I'm going west.
Why are you going west?
Because that's away from the village. I know the path through the mines there.
So you don't have any attention, like, you don't plan to get anything here? You only went there to get us?
I think that my people have done wrong, and I think that you're on a better path, and I want to help you on it.
Insight.
Yeah, insight.
You may roll insight.
I'm poopy at it, but I'm gonna try.
Insight. Oh, God.
Oh, well, that dice is dead now.
Okay.
I actually rolled decent.
I didn't. I got a 10. And my passive insight is 14.
Haha!
Well, I rolled 2 higher than my passive insight. 18.
Okay.
I got
Oh
a
no,
24.
again, it was my passive investigation.
Passive insight.
Passive insight's only 12.
Oh,
So
okay.
much better.
I got 16,
Okay.
which is low for me.
Alright, I heard 16, 12, 10... Yeah, but you said something?
Oh, I got an 18.
8.
Well, I
rolled
rolled
a
10, but
16
my
and plus
passive is
2, so-
14.
Oh, 18,
You got it.
14. Okay. So, is 18 the highest number I'm hearing right now?
I got a 24.
You got a 24. Okay.
Well, I got a 10. I used a mulligan for that number.
Wow.
You're very liberal with your mulligans.
That was well spent.
I'm bad at this. I want to be better at this, but I can't.
Yeah, same rolling dice is not a skill.
Yeah.
No, I mean
Roll
like,
dice
my
Get
bad.
better
insight
at it
skill.
from doing it more.
I meant my insight skill, not my rolling dice.
Yeah, Raiken has a +6 to insight.
I have a -1.
I have a
+4.
+7. So
Plus 2.
you see, I have a +7. I still got a 16, so that's why I say it's not good for me.
Yeah, plus 2 is still beat you. It happens.
Alright, so... He seems to genuinely just want to help you. He seems like he doesn't want you to rush into this and get killed.
Well, even if we don't go to the fighting, we should at least go for the scale.
But it's the same situation in both ways because he doesn't know the way through the minefield to the west, does it? Or he would have offered to take us somewhere.
Well, I appreciate your help, but I am going to continue forward.
He looks sadly upon the group, his eyes, like the pseudo-dragons, resting on Leah, almost pleadingly. You can feel this, please, I don't want you to die, in his eyes, as he looks upon you.
I want to trust you, but it's
Then
hard.
trust me.
But my dad is going that way.
You need to keep the company of fiends.
We don't know he's a fiend.
Pseudo dragons are fiends.
Not always.
Yeah,
Pseudo-dragons are reptiles.
you said it was a familiar
Indeed.
fiend.
My familiar isn't fiend.
Your familiar was a fiend when it was a pseudo dragon. That's
Oh,
why
yeah.
they're fiends.
I see you've got all the answers about the entire world having that single data point. I certainly envy you and your intelligence. In any event,
I mean, am I wrong?
are you wrong about your one data point? I don't know, I assume you're correct. I assume you've got eyes and can speak to people.
Am I wrong about that thing being a fiend?
I don't know, Leah. Sorry, he doesn't know your name. No, you said your name, Leah.
Yeah.
Was he a fiend?
Mine was. But
There
I'm
you
not
go,
sure.
you're correct. Her familiar was a fiend. Good job.
Yeah, I'm asking what the hell yours is.
I don't see how it's any of your
Yes,
business. I'm going back that way. I know the way through the minefield. Good luck.
You're asking us to trust you, and then you're not telling us if that's a fiend or not.
I'm asking you to live, but if you don't want to do that, don't listen to me. I'm
We
gone.
survived worse.
Then good luck to you. He turns to Leah one last time and says, I tried. I'm sorry. Would have been nice to know you better. And he turns and walks off into the marsh again. You hear his boots splashing for a little while.
I don't trust him.
Yeah, now that he's kind of away, Raiken's gonna, like, kind of, with a low voice, kind of be like, yeah, there was something off about him. I couldn't, even if we didn't have to worry about my brother, I still don't know if we could fully trust him or not.
Got a point about the mines, though. It's may not be the best idea to just run out there.
Well, all I know is my approach is going to be avoiding the ground.
Do glyphs have to only be on a surface, or can they be airborne now?
I'll look at Laramendus.
Suggestion was they had to be on the surface. Is he still giving his guidance to him?
Unfortunately, Sam isn't here, but I believe that he knows enough about glyph of warding that he can tell you that it's generally on a surface or on an item.
Just to be sure, let's like double this.
Alright, you can no longer talk to the party.
It's only 30 feet.
You can now shout at the party.
How about now at 20 feet?
I mean, have you ever stood 20 feet away from somebody and tried to talk to them?
Fair point.
That's
Back
like,
to 30.
imagine you're standing at one door of the kitchen in your house, and I assume there's a second door on the opposite end of your kitchen, and somebody's standing there. Only you're outside, and there's other sounds around.
Fair enough.
Including fighting.
My kitchen is only like 13 feet long. So you continue moving south and east along the boardwalk. I should ask, do you want to continue following the boardwalk until you get closer to the battle, or are you just going to cut straight in that direction through the water? The boardwalk does seem easier.
I feel like the boardwalk not only is easier to traverse, but that they probably frequent it. So yeah, they probably frequent walking it, so it won't be as booby trapped probably.
He says that, and he finds out.
Says that. Yeah. Then Tristan goes, "Okay, and you're dead."
How much HP you got, Raiken?
Let's see. I believe I'm at max 122.
I don't think that...
So close.
Right?
Oh, just shy. It's like one of the boards squeaks underfoot and you're launched 1,000 feet into the air.
He survived that.
A reverse gravity glyph.
Well, on a note of us traveling this way.
Yep.
As soon as Leah, I know the familiars or the little fairy's name. What was his name?
Lorelei.
Lorelei will hopefully be making their way back to confirm if Raiken's brother is even in the main battalion there.
Okay.
Because there is also the possibility, I'm saying this to everyone, there is also the possibility that he's separated from them.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point. You're correct. Lorelei would be coming back into range at this time. And she seems to call out over the telepathic bond with Leah.
Lorelei, status report.
The armies have met. Many are dying, mostly on the Dragonborn side.
Did you see Tatsuya anywhere?
Your uncle is leading from the back. He had sent scouts ahead, so they knew about the glyphs, but it isn't going well.
Okay, then I'll say that to the rest. Tatsuya is apparently in the back, he's still alive, but they're losing the battle.
We must tip the scales.
Do we want...
You should have Lorelei follow the
No
other
pun intended.
Do do we want to tip the scales? I mean, we did come here to stop them.
Maybe we should go for the scale now while they're distracted. Whatever we decide, we're gonna end up causing friction with them either way. Especially if we decide we want to kill the.
Good.
If we decide we want to kill the dragon, then we're gonna have to end up fighting these guys to get the scale.
Going for the scale now would likely be sacrificing Tatsuya. Unless he can come up with some scheme to be able to get out of this.
We split up, send some to try and get Tatsuya out of there, imprison him somehow.
I was like, there's probably something of a plan they would have, right? I can't imagine they just send their whole forces against them like this. They might have somebody trying to sneak over to get the scale while the fighting happens.
They do know about the glyphs, I know that much.
Can I re-summon my familiar so that he's near me?
You mean cast the spell again? Or do you mean, like, dismiss him, try dismissing him, and then, or not, banishing him and then unbanishing him?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could try that.
I want him just to be, like, circling us, over us.
Okay, so you had sent him to the north to look for magic rocks, as I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had said there didn't seem to be anything impressive outside. So you snap your fingers and then try and summon him again, and poof, he appears on your arm, this large raven. You tell him to fly over and circle the group, and to do anything else?
Yeah, I wanted to keep an eye out for that elf guy, but whatever his name was.
Gavaris.
Varus.
Skith just sort of nods at you, blinking its black eyes, and then launches itself into the air, awing much as a normal raven would as it flies loops over the group. I don't see the boy. I don't see anyone except for the battle.
That's fine.
Alright, well,
that's alright.
whether we split up or we stick together, I'm going after my brother.
I believe we need 2 Dragonborn if we want to get the scale, don't we? Was it 2? Or was it only 1?
It was 2.
Which means if that is our intent to split up and have one group get the scale, then
And you need to go with that group. And you'd have to trust us to get your brother.
Well, then who would be willing to do that?
I can go for your brother.
Well, we're not splitting up into all the party and then just Vendar. So if I can't trust everybody else, then
I would
we're
go.
not doing the scale.
I think I could try and polymorph your brother and extract him with a bag of holding, or just carrying him, so I can fly over to the back.
Don't we
I'm
have
sure he would
any
enjoy that.
Don't we have a spell or something that can put someone in a pocket dimension? I know there's a spell like that, but I don't know if any of us have it.
Aren't most of you all out of spells anyway?
Even if I had a spell that functioned in the way that we're desiring there, I am out of my resources of sufficiently high level magic.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Vendar and Cyrus to the battlefield.
I mean, I could go to the battlefield. I'm not. I believe my
Hang on a
skills
second.
align. Okay.
Cyrus,
Yep.
how would you polymorph him?
Scroll of polymorph.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember
think
you
I
had
have-
those.
A couple left. Yeah, I have like 2 left, I think.
I'm like, I know you are out of spell slots.
Yeah, I am down to cantrips and items.
Gotcha. Okay.
So 2 people.
Lee or a Jebel to come too?
Would you like
We
an
wanna be
anti-magic
sneaky.
field scroll?
What?
I said, would you like an anti-magic field scroll?
Yes.
Does your flight count as magic?
I think manifesting the wings would, but I don't think they're not magical themselves. They are physical wings. So
will
I had
attend
I
you.
had asked Doral this like when I first got my wings, so that I could have the in-character answer when we eventually had an out-of-character answer.
Okay,
Yes.
so it seems to me that most people are ruling that the wings act like a summoned creature, and so they would be
Okay.
unsummoned in an anti-magic field.
Okay.
So you would fall in the sky.
That is what
Then-
I'm reading, and there's a lot of like lean in this direction. There's obviously 2 sides to this, and people are discussing it, but it seems like most people are like, yeah, they because you can just dismiss them, and they're not like growing out of the body permanently. They're more like a summoned creature, and so I would rule it that
Yeah,
way.
some creature or object. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Sounds good. Then I guess I don't want the scroll of anti-magic field at the moment.
All right then.
Who is going where?
Where am I going?
I'm on battle team.
You could come to the battlefield with us. Right now it's just me and Cyrus.
Team Tatsuya.
That's team.
I'm just wondering where a limited number of healing spells would be
Most good.
effective.
Yeah, well, the other guy who can heal is going with the other party, so.
Well, I mean, I can also heal. My rod of healing's at full charge.
Let's forget about that then.
Wait, who's the other person who can heal?
Raiken.
He's a paladin.
Oh, yes, he is.
Don't you remember
Oops.
him groping everything to heal it?
Sometimes I forget.
I guess he
The
hasn't
whole,
been as
like,
gropey
I'm
lately.
going to save my paladin power for later.
Yes.
Yep.
Raiken, I'm saving it for later, Lumos.
Yep.
Right on his
Written on his
tombstone.
tombstone.
So are you okay with this? Are you doing this? Are you splitting this party? And is the split only 2 people going to the battlefield?
I'll probably go to the battlefield too, so.
Leah.
3 people going to the battlefield.
It'll be split 4-3 then.
I'd rather stick with Raiken.
A little uneasy with this because you're going to battlefield with a deadly bullets or whatever thing to bomb.
Don't one of you other two detect magic?
Nope.
You mind coming with us, Leia? I'd feel better if we could at least know where the mines are.
Okay.
Do it for Tatsuya, Leah.
Yeah.
Save your Uncle Tatsu.
I do have no ability to send anymore today, so I hope that this goes well.
Oh, God.
This seems a
we know
most
it's Telepathic
dangerous
Bond.
prospect, Scholar.
This,
Is that our worst possible time to separate is when we choose to
Yeah.
separate.
I mean, we are breaking the #1 rule of D&D.
It's
Don't
fine.
make
I'm
things
sure
difficult for the
it
GM.
won't. It definitely won't go horribly.
no, not at all.
Well, somebody has to live, and you guys are
possibly
like
go wrong.
all the divine champions, minus Vendar.
Hey. I have a divine.
Yeah, that's why I said minus Vendar.
Okay.
Okay.
If everyone is okay with this, I will separate the two parties, and I will do a portion of the scene with one, and then a portion of the scene with the other, and then flip back and flip back. I think I'll be able to do it in two-part scenes.
Do you have any idea how far apart these two places are?
Well, kinda. You know that the battle is raging, you're here, the battle is raging out here-ish, let's say. I know there isn't any more land modeled out there, but it's outside the bounds of the town down here, and, you were originally up over here, which is why 100 feet and Skith was still telling you they're pretty far away. And you know that the glow that you saw was over there.
I'll emphasize to the group that I am a little uneasy about this.
We can not take the scale and all go to assist with the army.
And what if that's what they want us to do, and that someone is already trying to take the scale?
Yeah,
It
so
is
I'm thinking
possible
somebody could
that-
already be.
A group was sent that way.
I've seen many things that's supposed to be impossible.
No, I said it is possible, not impossible.
Oh, okay.
I was agreeing with your logic there.
Scholar, may I ask you an impertinent question?
Please.
If you take the scale, what do you intend to do with it? It can only be used for one thing, and that is to raise the dragon, and if that is not what you wish to do you believe that you can keep it safer than it is here, now?
Fair point. We could not send people who could go and take it to the tower to make sure that nothing was going on there, if we do want to split the party.
Instead, send people to protect it.
Yeah, we could send people just to prevent any group
One
sent
else from
by-
taking it.
Yes.
Be advised, Scholar, I am not offering any suggestion of course of action. I simply want to know, if your intention is not to use it, then why take it?
It's true. I do not wish to commit deicide, and so I would prefer for it to stay here.
I still think we should kill it.
There's also the fact that if we go stop Tatsuya, it would be fine to stay here. Until we make our decision, and then cross that bridge when we get there.
I mean, yes, we could leave it here and stop Tatsuya. The decision becomes more difficult if we need to get it not at this almost perfect opportunity.
Well, there's also the fact that if it pushes our hand where someone takes it and does awaken the dragon, we could just kill the damn thing.
It's not that easy.
I know. Or
What, you got a champion of Cord and a champion of Bahamut. It'll be a lot easier than before.
It'll,
Wait, yeah. Just one. It's a small one, too.
And a champion of Syntharamil. Small voice exudes from nearby Leah.
Alright, we have several champions.
Bad flapping noises.
champions
I'm gonna
have
kill him,
fallen
thanks.
before.
What was that, Leah?
Champions have fallen before.
But champions aren't usually all grouped together either.
I still don't think it's a wise idea to start a fight with them. Especially not when there's so many of them already awake. We should keep this one asleep.
I get the feeling
I'm
there's
not
probably people going to steal the scale.
I need quick clarification. Are we walking and talking right?
We're kind of just. We're kind of at a
decide
crossroads
where
right
it's
here.
right.
All right,
We could
well,
ingratiate ourselves to Tresnor if we don't send both the Dragonborn to the pillar, because we cannot get the scale that way, and we can assure him that we are trying to make sure it was not taken by another force.
and we need information from Tatsu to make sure what his intentions of his goals are, and if he's killed, that would ruin that opportunity.
Well, if we want to do that, then Raiken should come with us.
Well, we've been talking for quite a while. We need to make a decision quickly.
I wanted to do before. I would prefer to go to Tatsuya.
And I think that the information that we can glean from your brother is important, and you should do that. I do think that we should send some people to make sure that nothing happens to the scale.
I doubt the ritual is also instantaneous. If I remember.
The ritual to raise Widimir requires going to Widimir's body, which is very far from here.
So
Yeah, just gotta steal it.
I doubt Tatsuya's group is gonna get the scale and then leave by themselves, possibly, right? So
I would think that they would.
wait. I could quickly. I remember I told you I have the ability to find all the scales, so if it is taken or moved, I should be able to know. Right, Tristan?
Yep.
Yes. So I can tell if the scale is moving.
That would be nice to know.
I said
He
that
had said
before.
it a long time ago. It's just been a long out of game time.
So yes, I can tell if the scale is moving. So there is that to influence our decision.
Is
Let's
the
go
scale
to
moving?
Tatsuya.
Tristan, that's the okay. I'm gonna real quick grab onto the pen to do whatever I need to do to sense or feel if the scale is stationary and it's located where it's said to supposedly be.
You pull out the pendant. It is a 5-point star. Each of the points is glowing brightly with a different color that mostly appear to indicate the colors of chromatic dragons. You've got red, blue, white, green, and purple. The center is glowing with a soft white light, the center pentagon, and as you pull it out and look at it, at first confused, not sure what you need to do, you feel this pull on it. As you stare into it, the reflective silver seems to hum in your hand, and you feel your other hand being drawn up, and you suddenly... You don't fully understand why your hand is moving, you don't remember telling it to move, but at the same time, you also suddenly feel like this item is more familiar to you. and you don't resist the movement of your hand as your finger extends and presses the white glowing center, and the 5 points begin to slowly pulse. And then you reach down and press against the white pulsing point, at which point all the others go dim, and the white pulses twice, and then the white gets passed from one pin to the next, around the points of the star until it makes 2 full circles, and then it blinks on a different point than it was on before. And this point, as you hold it in your hand, you realize seems to be indicating this direction over here, where you believe you saw the glow of the pillar as you fell through the sky earlier.
And there's no way to feel distance or the change of if it's, yeah.
It doesn't appear to be moving. Like the pendant like kind of drifts up out of your hand and seems to wobble gently in the air, orienting itself so that it's flat, part parallel to the ground. And you see the glowing white point seem to kind of like rock back and forth dynamically, dialing in the position of the scale, and it just sort of settles in that direction, one that you believe you saw the pillar in when you fell through the sky this morning.
So, I will speak to the party and say, so far it feels like it's still pointed in the direction of the pillar and it hasn't changed.
Which does not mean that's how it will stay.
Yes, but I could always periodically check on it.
So you're suggesting all of us go towards the fighting, and if you notice things start to move, then we make a run for it. To try and get them before they get too far?
Well, or we could sick Tresnor after him, because if he's there's the
fair point,
because if we tell him that the scale is being moved, he may abandon us and what's going on to go deal with it. And there's also the fact that there's if things go south with Tatsuya, with the whole situation with the battle going on with Tatsuya, we may need all of us there because I don't know the strength of a demi-lich or lich, and what would happen if one of us got caught by him. You know what I mean?
I think that's fair.
So my concern is not having all hands on deck, someone get caught, and then done for.
So we're all
Sounds
going
like-
to the army then?
Sounds
That
like we're
would
going to
be-
Tatsuya.
That would be my recommendation, because I have a way to sense where the scale is. But we're dealing with a demi-lich, and yeah,
And we should go.
that's my feeling.
We spent way too much time talking here.
Yeah, I know we have.
Let's go.
Okay. Then you gather up and continue your march through the city. This village. Heading out into the field. Now, the next question becomes, are you going to head directly from the last building, the last bit of boardwalk you can be on, to the nearer army, which is the Platinum Sentinels? Are you going to try and go around them to get to the Dragonborn? How would you like to move between here and there? There are 2 armies, so as you approach the end of the boardwalk, you are much closer to the battle now. The back lines of Tresnor's army seems to be just 100 or so feet away from you, facing off against another army which is in ranks. You can see the closest people appear to be archers and magic users, and in the middle of these effectively two lines, there's the Dragonborn and there's the Sentinels sandwiched between you and the Dragonborn. And what is happening is that the melee fighters are contending in the middle of the field, and the archers and magic users are firing over them. For the most part, the magic users are canceling each other out with counterspells. You can see spells striking barriers, you can see arrows striking barriers, and what you can see is that Tatsuya has about 20 soldiers left to his name, which includes about 8 frontline soldiers, and the rest are archer. The remaining 12 are archers and magic casters. He seems to be. You can see him stood at the back of his line, as he is shouting orders. You can see his armor, his helmet winged, marking him as a commander. As he shouts orders to the people around him, and he is flanked by 3 other Dragonborn who don't seem to be participating in the fight, but they seem to be watching vigilantly for anything coming at him specifically. On this side of the field is the much larger number, maybe 40, somewhere between 40 and 50 Sentinels, who are slowly overtaking them. You can see many dead, especially Dragonborn, but several Sentinels on this field, and then beyond Tatsuya, further out, you can see the corpses of many Dragonborn, armored, strewn about, just poking out of the shallow water of the swamp. It is chaos. It is organized chaos as these two lines unleash volley after volley of magic at each other, and what you can tell, even from here, is that regardless of what you do, this is going to be over soon.
Try to get behind, get to Tatsuya.
Yeah, I want to try and, take his, kind of take a somewhat roundabout path, trying to use the trees for cover so I don't necessarily get spotted on my way over, but I want to try and get behind them.
You wanted to try and bypass the Sentinels and head over to the Dragonborn? You just
Yes.
throw some tokens down just so we have something to look at. Ba-da-bum. Ba-da-bum. Six. Only so much.
Before I head off, I would swoop down for a second and suggest to Jebel, perhaps one of your elemental forms can make its way to the back quietly.
That's an idea.
That way, Felicity will decide. And I would say that one of the things you quickly notice, at least feel like you're noticing absence of Resnor. You don't feel like you're seeing him here, even though you're behind Sentinel lines where you would have imagined to find him.
I thought you said he was behind shouting orders from a winged helmet. Was that
If
someone
I
else?
said
that's Tatsuya.
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 Tatsuya. Okay.
Reznor
Sorry,
is
they
the
both
one
start
who
with
seems to be
T's,
missing.
so my brain can easily confuse them.
Okay, so I threw some tokens down. This is, approximately what it looks like from where you are. Just imagine more undergrowth and trees and not, chest deep in the water.
For some
Or at least
reason, I can't
most of
see it-
them not chest deep in water. Some of them
For
would
some
be.
reason, I can't see it from my end on Tailspire, but I can see it on the stream.
That is.
They might be too far, or maybe the trees or house are in the way. Who knows? Let me try moving closer for a second, just to find out. Yeah, if I move closer, I can see them.
There's right. There. Jeb will be as I know I have to move this one. Oop. Whoosh. He's flying! Oh, you can fly, actually. I don't know why I'm making a joke about that. Do remember, Yukikaze, that you could fly at will if you want to.
Yes. I
Do
know.
you want the anti-magic field scroll, since your flying is via an artifact, which will not be suppressed?
Peter.
He's got an artifact. He's cheating at life.
He doesn't have a artifact. He has 3 in a sense.
Think of what Nalia could do if she had all 3 of them.
Oh, quite you. We have to die first.
She could fly.
No, we can't die first. We need to get them to her first.
Fly, you fools.
Half an hour left. So, how do you want to do this? There is a fight currently raging on. You can attempt to go around it to the Dragonborn side. You can attempt to approach it from the Sentinel side. Or you can attempt to go straight up the gut through. Or you can attempt... Some of you can attempt to go over it.
I will put the little layer. Be like, telepathic bond. You'll be able to do that real quick.
It takes 10 minutes. We don't
Damn
have
it!
time.
No, it's a. Alright.
Because
I'll quickly say Chris is just us. Start you said we couldn't see Tresor from here?
You cannot see Tresnor from here. You can see Tatsuya.
I would I'd pick the path that would put me to Tatsuya. I'll approach it from the side. And I will state that would be my objective unless someone says otherwise or suggests otherwise.
I mean, I think the more people going for him, the better. I'll be going for him as well.
Did you want the scroll or not?
Yeah, I'll take the scroll. Well, I'm also got all this. Do you want me to have it for what? Wiping out the sigils or whatever? Runes? Or is it just to have it for something else?
That's right. I don't know how much of that you heard, because I think you were dealing with your cat when it mostly came up, Sam. The party was informed that the village here was rather thoroughly surrounded by hidden glyphs of warding that would kill you if you stepped near them.
Okay, that is useful information.
I'm sorry, I forgot that you were away when I said it before.
No, that's entirely fair.
The topic of discussion
have...
shifted by the time you got back.
Yeah, I have detect magic on, so I can see what's visible from that.
And the person who warned you about these also said that while some of them might be visible to detect magic, many more likely have the magic aura on them to hide them.
Yeah, I mean, I would do the same thing. If I had 1,000 years to prepare this village for not letting anything in.
Yeah.
So then,
they are permanent effects, so it would dispel them. They
They'd
would
be
not
gone.
be. So you could do laps around and just get rid of all of them in an area, everywhere 10 feet away from you. I had meant it more specifically as preventing magic from being cast at you, especially if you're going straight for Tatsuya, is probably a good idea.
if that is what you wish me to use it for, then I will.
Just once I get there, try and not be within 10 feet of Tatsuya so I can try and polymorph and extract him.
I will also fly low to the ground so that I'll wipe off lifts as I like. Can I fly low with
Yeah.
my flight?
You could fly just 10 feet off the ground to wipe out any surface glyphs that are there.
What if there's any aerial glyphs?
Then the anti-magic field would wipe those out too.
The glyphs need to be written on things, although I suppose you could put them on something and make that. Making a thing invisible is difficult. Like an object permanently invisible is extremely difficult.
Alright,
It
so
would be-
I will take the scroll, I'll ask Liberus quickly how to use it, and then do so, and then fly towards Tatsuya, low to the ground, and tell everyone to follow my path.
Alright. He hands you a scroll that's covered in Draconic script. You read it, as you easily speak Draconic and read Draconic. And as you do so, the paper shreds in your hand and seems to blow away on the wind. Other than that, you can't tell that anything's changed.
I will
Goodbye.
do a little quick running forward and then do my gliding or flying across the ground.
Okay, please show me the path that you are going to take.
Let's see. Path.
And
So I would have been probably right here because I was behind everyone.
okay.
And Larabendis is back here anyways. So path would be 10 feet is
It's 10 feet on either side of you, on all around you, basically.
You are an orb of anti-magic.
Tatsuya, so it's all I see is the rangers and commoner elves. Like
Right, so Tatsuya's this one over here.
I see the lines.
If you follow the line to its end.
I do not see an icon there or anything.
Yeah, they're like we can't see because it's too far and like how it does. But you could see the point that he was at, and there, when you are close enough, there will be somebody at that point, and that somebody is Tatsuya.
Alright, so I'll fly towards the trees here.
Okay.
I'll angle this. Oh, actually, I can do the lines too. Why don't I just do the lines?
Yeah, and you can bend it by clicking and then doing another one if you want to keep changing direction. And I've put a dome.
Oh, that's a sphere. I don't want a sphere.
Yeah, if you click number 2 after clicking M, if you hit M and then 2 on your keyboard, that'll get you there.
Okay. Alright, so boom to boom
Yep.
to boom to wherever he is out there.
Do you see
Oh,
the
there it
dome?
is. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, that bubble is him.
How do I go back? Not that far back.
I don't think there is a go back.
As far as
I
I know,
see.
there's not.
Alright, so boom, boom, and then boom. So I'll do that.
Okay.
I will follow directly.
Okay. So I know what Yukikaze is doing, and I know what Cyrus is doing. What is everyone else doing?
Really close.
Oops. Let's see. What can Raiken do?
Actually,
Raiken can just float and sputter. He moves faster than you, but if you want to, you can't. One of your options is to just follow directly in Yukikaze's wake, or you can do.
How far is it from us to the Platinum Sentinels?
From you to the Platinum Sentinels. The nearest by Platinum Sentinels are about 150 feet away. Even double moving, it's going to take you a little bit to get there, like 3 turns.
Yep, that is basically strikes down what I wanted to do.
If I wild shape
Yeah.
into a water elemental, how many people can I carry if I try to swim?
How many people can you carry if you try to swim? Well, a water elemental is a large creature, right?
Yeah.
I would imagine 1, because usually large creatures can carry 1 small creature, but I don't know, 2, especially since you've got the swamp water to help you out here. Why, how fast do you water glide?
90 feet.
That's pretty fast.
The elemental can grapple 1 large creature or up to 2 medium or smaller creatures at one time.
Oh, so my guess was a guess, but it was right.
Yeah.
So you could take 2 people with you and go 90 feet, since technically you can only move at half speed when you're grappling. But that's not bad. It's not the 180 that you might want, but it's still 90.
That's with dashing, is it?
I imagine 90 was your base move speed.
Yeah, 90
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
base.
So if you dash, you'll be able to move 90 because grappling move half speed. Carrying, in this case, move half speed.
Okay, I'm going to try that. Water elemental.
Alright, so just so you know, Raiken, even though you move slower than Yukikaze does, you would still reach the Sentinels before he reached Tatsuya's army.
Oh, okay.
He's got a lot farther to move than you do, and he only moves 10 feet faster.
Then Raiken wants to start moving towards the Platinum Sentinels, and as he's doing so, he wants to get out his Thunder Gun.
Oh, okay. Jebel, who are you going to grab with your water elemental power?
Who wants to go where?
You might not have time to discuss this, so you might just be grabbing 2 people and going.
Yeah.
So you tell me which 2 are you going to grab, and then tell me where do you intend to take them.
Is everyone still with me? Have Raiken and Yukikaze, if they've already moved away?
No one has moved yet. I'm trying to determine where everyone is moving, and everyone's going to move at the same time.
Okay, I will grab... Cyrus and Lara Mendes.
Okay. If you fail to grab one of them, who is a backup?
Leah.
Yeah. Okay. And then where do you want to go?
I'm heading towards the not the Platinum Sentinels, the other ones.
The Dragonborn.
Dragonborn.
Okay. And are you gonna head straight for the leader? Who
Yeah.
seems to be at the back of the group? Or are you gonna head to, like, their ground fighters first?
No, I was going to head straight to the back.
Okay, so you're just gonna, like, loop around, like, the outside, kinda following a path similar to Yukikaze has drawn out?
So yeah.
Okay.
Probably trying to follow that as closely as possible for the anti-magic effects.
He
of it.
moves faster than
Oh,
Yukikaze.
never mind. We're in for a bumpy ride.
Even at half speed, he moves faster than Yukikaze. Laramandus, Leah, you are going to be suddenly wrapped up in watery tendrils and pulled into the body of this water elemental. I'm saying those two now because I know Cyrus intends to fly, so if the watery tendrils come for you, are you going to dodge?
Yeah, probably, because somebody else will make better use of them.
Okay. Then, let me see if I have an elemental. I think I do. Okay,
They have their own section.
elementals. There it is. Good. I always try to click and drag elemental or tokens out, and it's really just click.
Or like you pick the one that you want and then you click where it goes.
Right.
Yep.
Down to that size, large. So apparently the water elemental token looks like a tidal wave. Daboosh. Daboosh. So this water suddenly surges up around Jebel as his form melts into the elemental, and you begin moving. Everybody begins moving. The elemental is going to move first. Or move farthest, I should say. Let's see. Figure out where. 40. Go. So yeah. Not much, buddy. Trying to move out to here. Leah, Laramendus, do you want to see what is happening with Jebel as he turns to water and then reaches for you? Do you allow him to take you?
Yeah, I trust him.
Okay. So you get swept up by these watery arms into his body, and
I hold my breath.
hold forward. Alright, Yukikaze is able to move. You can double move.
Well, I could see them now, so a little off on my marker.
Alright, so Yuki, you'll be able to get to about there. Raiken is moving directly toward the Platinum Sentinels at a double. So basically, he gets pretty much right up to where Yuki is. You're heading in two different directions, but you're crossing paths again. As he's, like, flying through the trees.
Gotta take into account my wingspan. I can't just fly in between them.
I mean, yeah. You can fly, what, 50 at a double move?
50 out of double move, but I think by how much, because it outspeeds me, I will drink my potion of speed
Okay.
in hopes of catching up with him, but always stay 10 feet behind him, so that, well, not 10, but 15 feet behind him, so that I'm not canceling out my potion of speed.
Got you. Okay. And then Vendar. You were the one person I didn't ask. I apologize.
I'm here.
No, I left you out, and I'm sorry. So everybody seems to be about to charge the battlefield. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do if you're charging the battlefield? There's only been the barest minimum of discussion of what's going to happen.
I want to stay on the edge and stay away from people because I do that.
Okay.
So I'll stand back.
You'll stand back, and are you going to be moving into a position where you can attack, and who do you want to attack? If so.
Have we decided which side we're on yet?
Not sure there's been a definitive statement of which side you're on. You know that you know that Raiken is on the side of keep Tatsuya alive. But nobody has said directly, we're going to fight. Before anybody breaks, like, everybody's going to start moving at the same time, but before they do, Yukikaze says, I'm going to fly to Tatsuya, and Raiken says, I'm going to run to the Sentinels. But they haven't said what they're going to do once they get there. The only one who said anything about what they want to do is Cyrus, who said, I'm going to try and polymorph Tatsuya and get him out of the battlefield.
Laramentis and Leah.
Laramentis and Leah are going to be suddenly engulfed by a water elemental and carried out to the battlefield.
We are attempting to surf. Laramentis hasn't done this since he was on a giant turtle.
True. Wow.
So many years.
The Daikon misses it, though.
Next time we're in Daigo's Alphas. He had promised.
He did. Better be a man of his word. Alright, so... yeah, you can... we're now moving at battle speed, so you can double move to a position you like. I've just moved all the tokens the farthest they can move, so... Yuki moved 80, and, Raiken moved 60 from his position. He was a little further up. Your double move is 60, right?
Yeah, I wasn't counting.
Oh. It'd be for you, given where they've been moving, like, Irish.
Okay. That good?
Yeah, that'll do for now. That's fine. We're kind of...
oh, I was zoomed out so far I couldn't see them under the treetops.
yeah, it's, trying to get, like, a little bit bigger scale battle shown here, but I still mostly just only have my words to describe what's going on. So, hopefully it's, understandable. Okay. So, on the next turn, the elemental is going to move another 90. There. Boop. Taking these two with him. I need Leah and Laramentis to each roll a D% for me.
Okay. I'm good at this. I get a 49.
Okay. And Leah, D%.
What did you say? I roll?
A D%.
A deep what?
D%.
D100.
Die.
Yeah, or 2 10s and...
Roll a D100.
Oh. Okay. I thought you were trying to say a skill name or something, so I was very confused.
Oh, no, sorry. D,
That's fair.
dice, percent. D%.
If you tell me I needed a 50,
I thought you were saying
I'm gonna
10%.
laugh.
I mean, I understand how that was that's a difficult word to parse if you don't know what you're listening for.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
now,
it's okay.
you now have a
It's-
deeper sense.
All right, hang on.
Yeah,
What,
17. So
17. Okay, and in your elemental form, how much HP have you got there, Jebel?
114.
114. Okay. Roll me a D% anyway.
Whoops.
We go over a glyph of power word death.
There's no
Just
such
kills
thing
me.
as power word death. It's power word kill.
That's the one.
Okay, now how do I read this?
You should a D%, if you don't have a 100-sided die, should be a D10 that has the 10 double 0, 10, 20, 30 on it, and a D10 that only has 1 through 0 on it, or 0 through 9.
Yeah.
Okay, what is
That's
the
what I
one
have.
with 2 numbers on it say?
0, 0.
Okay, what does the one with 1 number on it say?
5.
5. So that's 5%.
Okay.
Which
It's
was
impressively
the
low.
magic number. So, you as you're going there, Laramendus, you will see this bright flash of arcane energy beneath the surface of the bog water, and you're going to see these tendrils of black necrotic energy wrap and entwine themselves in this tidal wave of water that you're riding in, and you're just going to see them fizzle.
Is it Everett's Black Tentacles?
No, it was power word kill.
Oh, okay.
But he has more than
Jesus.
100 HP, so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Thank God.
We're saying it was the magic number because he rolled lower than us, so we didn't get hit by it?
No, I had actually chosen that it was a 10% chance, and he rolled a 5. He rolled a 49, and Leah rolled a 17. She almost died.
Ooh, good lord.
Oh
So
my
if you get hit by
God.
power word kill but have more than 100 HP, it doesn't do anything?
If
That is correct.
a power word kill instantly kills any creature that has 100 or fewer hit points, with no save.
I have
It's
more than
almost got
100.
struck
I'm
by
not
it.
hurt.
But then the Lich decided to go with the more fun option.
Oh yeah, but the worst part was that I had known I was going to go with a more fun option the whole time, and my brain just farted, and I just read off the list rather than going with my original plan. So I had to walk it back. I'm like, that isn't even what I wanted to do.
I mean, I'm glad that we went
happens,
with the more fun option.
what happens if you have more than 100 HP?
Nothing.
It just doesn't do anything.
Oh, well then I will be fine anyway.
Oh, so Laramendus is the only one who's fucked.
Yeah, like I have more than
Leah has more than 100 HP?
Yeah.
103 total, but I lost 1 apparently, so I'm at 102.
114.
Still surprising.
Warlock's at D8s, dude.
Warlock's
My
at
only
D8.
excuse is good con.
Alright, and then we're gonna move Yuki, his next, 80.
Oh, no, wizards are D6. Okay. That would explain why I only have 86 health.
What's your
That
con?
You should have less.
14. I never build anyone with fewer than 14 con because I have made mistakes in the past.
And then we're going to move Raiken. Yes. 60.
Yeah, I've rolled some good rolls for HP. Last one was
I
really
also
bad
take
though.
average.
Yeah, no, last one was really bad though because
Raiken-
before I leveled up, I had exactly 100 HP, and then now I have 103, which means that I rolled a 2. So my
Alright.
last roll was really bad.
Vendor, you may move yourself 60 feet to where you would like to be.
Okay. So Raiken's going towards the the Platinum Sentinels?
Yes.
Move 50, then I dash another 50 with the haste action. And since I still have a regular action, I'll be dodging 2, just in case.
Yep. Have the dodge action. As you all enter the battlefield, you will kind of see the battle sort of like hovers for a moment. Take my meaning. Like the fighters engage with each other like a few at a time, seem to like kind of catch a glimpse of you, and they'll like block a blow and watch you a moment, then turn back to strike. There's just like this moment of what's going. Oh right. You kind of see all of them lull for just a moment, especially Tatsuya's forces, more of whom are facing you, but especially as you go past the line of sight of the Sentinels, some of them stop and look as well. But the fighting does continue. Water Elemental. That's just... such a good... Now, you guys riding in the Water Elemental, are you going to be doing anything other than riding? Since you can technically take actions. Armandus Leah.
Nah.
You may take the dodge action.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I was going to say, if possible, I would take the dodge action, I think.
Okay. I will allow that.
I'll do that.
That's reasonable. Each of you must again roll a D%. All three of you.
I'm good at those.
You got the 49 last time. That's a pretty good one.
78.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like if it doesn't kill me immediately since I'm higher than 100, right?
I mean, that's how Power Word Kill works.
If it is Power
be a
Word
different
Kill.
spell.
If it is Power Word Kill.
If it is Power Word Kill, because I got a 2.
You got a 2. Excellent.
Wow, you guys are impressive.
The
The curls would be like a fireball.
Elemental, Jebel, what'd you got?
Check it out.
Like, you would make some amazing clerics with, what's it called? The level 10 ability, the Divine Intervention, that's it.
Yeah,
Because you need to roll below your cleric level, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I do not want to see the one with 2 numbers show zeros unless the other die is also 0.
Yeah. Because then it's 100.
Yeah, I got 99.
Oh. Elisa, what's your favorite animal?
That's a very difficult question. How can I pick one? Platypus.
A platypus. Interesting. Okay, roll a charisma saving throw.
She's gonna be
Just because I have a platypus right next to me.
Perry.
I would have advantage on that.
This is the...
It's one of your better saving throws, so maybe you'll make it.
There it is. There it is.
Turns out it's 27.
Let's see. Charisma save, and I'm not close to Raiken, so...
Not close to Raiken.
Wait, charisma save?
Charisma saving throw.
Oh yeah, well, my charisma is insane, so
Yeah.
so that's 23.
23. You just made it.
You almost needed Raiken's bonus even with your insane save.
Yeah, my charisma is literally plus 10 on saves.
Yeah.
So,
Polymorph is one of the spells they got. Crap, but that means not all the Dragonborn are dead. And those animals that Jeff will talk to might actually be humans who use or not animals.
Alright, I moved them first, right? Which means it is... you can play next. 80 along his path, which... Oops. Wow, I fucked that up. Oop. Oop.
Zoopity doo dah. Zoopity day.
Right. Cyrus can just follow along because he can much faster than Ikikaze now.
I just need to keep track of my countdown.
Alright. Raiken, there you are able to make it to a number of different people within the back line of this who all appear to be magic casters. They seem to be catching sight of your friends running by and preparing to direct spells at them. You do see the was he? Ooh, this one. Yeah, that looks right anyway. You do see this dude at the back, who was the orc who brought you to Tresnor. Seems to be the one giving orders.
I see. How far am I from him?
From where I just dropped him, 40 feet.
Haha, that's within range.
Okay, what are you going to do?
First, I have to load my gun.
Okay. Oh, you don't keep it loaded?
I imagine he wouldn't keep it loaded just in case, like, if he pulls it out of his bag and accidentally pulls the trigger.
Alright, so you spend this action loading the... Would you have started loading the gun before? I might need to...
yeah.
Oh, you were dashing, so you couldn't have. So now you are loading it. It takes 2 rounds to load.
Then I have another question.
Okay.
Is it an action to drink a potion?
In general, yes.
Okay. Then I wouldn't have been able to do that either. Dashing. So,
You drink it now.
yeah,
I don't know what potion it is.
Well, I mean, I want to load the gun.
Okay. So you can whip it out and begin the loading process and get halfway done with it.
Okay.
You're gonna shoot him with the thunder gun?
We're going to find out what he's going to do. You begin loading. Boop, bop, beep, boop, bop, which leaves, I believe, just Vendar. Vendar, you see him run over there. He kind of splashes, slows down, and you see him pull this massive metal musket out of his tiny bag of holding at his waist and just, set the butt of it down, sinking it into the swamp a couple inches and begin loading, reaching into the pouch and pulling powder and shot out and loading it into the barrel.
Alright. So I can have my musket. I can pull my musket out, right? I can put my bow away and pull them.
You can drop the bow and pull out the musket, or you can just pull the musket out. Alright, you could just pull the musket out, just put the bow away, or drop the bow in the swamp next to you and then pull the musket out.
I'm not about to do that.
You don't know what effect dropping the little painter guy into the swamp water will have.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I'll put the bow away and
Okay.
I'll come next to Raiken.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna draw their attention.
You can see he is beginning to succeed as, like, the nearest spellcaster is, like, kind of, like, looking over her shoulder and then, like, kind of turning, like, with this just bewildered expression on her face. You very quickly see that she is searching your bodies for a sash and is coming up empty.
I don't keep it loaded because I don't want it to blow up in my face when I pull it out.
Ah, you're an idiot. It takes way too long to load that thing. I got mine loaded. I can shoot mine.
See her, like, starting
I'm almost ready.
Tap the spellcaster next to her. It's almost ready.
Are we planning on fighting these guys, or we just want to make them not shoot at Tatsuya?
This is more of a distraction. So hopefully they get the upper hand, or the other side gets the upper hand, and then we run.
Okay.
And I think we're gonna hold it there.
Yeah, we should. It's past time.
Yeah.
Sure, we're not gonna die or anything.
Well,
I mean,
Raiken had a plan, so he wasn't expecting Vendar to join him.
Starting next week, everybody loved Raiken.
Starting the week after next, because unfortunately we won't be able to play next week.
Oh,
No.
2 weeks to find out the daring do conclusion of Everybody Loves Raiken. Will our intrepid party survive this battle, or will they become more bones around the frost pillar?
now the question. Do we get enough XP to level so I have an unexpected spell I can throw at someone?
We might not get XP since we're in battle now.
How much XP do you need? Because it's one less than that.
Initiative.
Yes, you're right. I think I'm supposed to give Bendar like 997 XP or something like that.
Yeah, too late. I already leveled.
Shoot.
I meant specifically for Cyrus.
Yeah, it's Cyrus you were gonna fuck over, not me.
Oh, was it?
No,
Those
Raiken
I
was
need to
fucked over.
have. Let's see here.
I think you probably need.
This is when you lie.
I think you need more than 1,000. So.
Well,
Raiken
I mean,
needs 1,002.
given the number of paths you could have taken today, and the one that you're choosing, I'm going to make today worth a bit more, because that's, like, an encounter. Nobody has rolled initiative, so you're not technically in combat yet. This has all been cinematic fighting.
Then let me pull up the calculator, make sure I don't screw up this, so I know exactly how much to.
I'm going to give you all 1,300.
Yay, level!
Not close enough, but I could maybe round it out with journals if I really, really wanted to.
I like the idea that mid-battle everything's exploding. You're writing a journal.
He's like, I'm gonna shoot my gun and ding! The fuck was that? Why do I feel stronger?
Did you say 1,300, like 1-3?
1300.
Yeah. I sometimes
I was
struggle
waiting-
to hear the difference between 13 and 14.
Tristan, I was waiting for you to be like, I'm going to give you guys more experience. 1,001 points. So then I'd be 1 point away and I'd be pissed.
You were the one I was trying to screw over. I knew somebody
Yeah,
was only 1 point away if I did it a certain way. It was if I'd given you 1,000. Damn it! Should have stuck with it.
2 points away. 2 points away if you would have stopped at 1,000.
Yeah, you guys did so much better today. I think I'm going to give you a little reward. You get 1,001.
Yeah, I don't know who that elf was, but I don't trust him because of that pseudo dragon.
Oh, don't you worry, Elias. Bound to find out.
Yeah,
At
like,
least
that's absolutely an agent of Zephyr. I don't really know much about Zephyr, and I know nothing about Lauren.
Yeah, he was
But
giving Raiken the
That
heebie-jeebies.
just seems so overt. It's like, yeah, I don't trust
Yeah,
you.
I was looking up the requirements for the spell Dream, and apparently it only says no, so I met this person, I can enter his dreams.
Needless to say, things are going to get interesting, and like I said, there were many paths you could have taken today. I had at least 4 potential like plans written out, like in case they do this, in case they do this, in case they do this.
Let's see. In case we follow the kid, in case we go to the Frost Pillar, in case we go to Tatsuya,
In
what
case
will
we
be the
just
fourth
book it.
one?
But hilariously, in case they go to the Frost Pillar, was one I only thought of at the last minute while I was still at work today, and I was like, right, they might actually think to just go there while the two armies are fighting, because that's the smart thing to do if they want the scale.
I mean, I figured that's where Tresnor is, and so half of the party who's, like, underpowered because of resource expenditure ends up fighting the full-powered Demi-Lich. Which would have been great, because it's like, okay, and fuck.
So,
back.
So,
Okay,
Tristan, just so
really
you
made it
know,
out.
the XP for next week is 1,489.
Okay, that's what I'm giving you the next time we meet.
No, next week.
Next time we meet.
Not next time, next week. It just has to happen on the...
Alright, next week you'll receive 1,000 experience. Got it. Alright, thanks everybody for coming. I had a good time. I hope you did too. I'm sorry we don't get to play next week.
Woo!
Things are happening.
Lots of
Until next
things.
time, on Everybody Loves Raiken.